right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Warash, double honors to the elders and the apostles and the bishops that rule well and teach well, the apostles of Great Millstone, whom I learn this truth from. Peace and salutations to you, hopefully elect out there, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom. And I just wanted to touch on this video today. And Lord willing, through the Spirit, this is edifying. And I'm not sure who this guy Dogface is, but he's going into how children are raised in single parent households, and the end result of it, or the product of it, of women's, these women raising these children, whether it be the male or whether it be female, all right. And this is one of the weapons, or the tools, that Esau, Edom, okay, going all the way back to the serpent, but which is now Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. This is one of the tools that he used to destroy the nation of Israel. Okay, ultimately, capitalizing off the curses. But let's go ahead and play this video, and we'll grab some scriptures, along the way, and Lord willing, this is edifying.
Some a nigga did, some a nigga did, or some a nigga didn't do. As a black woman, there's a way for you to express your displeasure with something that the man said or didn't say, because sometimes what a motherfucker don't say is just as important as what he did say, right? So my thing is that black women, they've been raised in households absent strong black men. There's studies and research that talks about how black men grow up in single-parent households predominantly by their mother. They're raised by black women, so they're hyper-emotional, they're high-strung, they handle things from an emotional standpoint because all they see is their mama, and their mama's a so really got attitudes like they dad's mama, right? But listen,
all right, and that's true, okay, especially this new generation, all right, this last generation, Lord willing, man. Okay, Generation X. These little demons, who grow up in these single parent households. They're I'm speaking about the little young men. They're they're the worst, man. Okay, they don't know how to deal with situations. Any conflict that arises is automatically gunplay. That's weak, man. Okay, this is Ecclesiasticus 3:6, and it reads, "He that honoreth his father shall have a long life." Okay, and if the father is around or is present, these children, who grow up in these single parent households. Okay, they don't honor the father, man. They constantly disrespecting the Jake man. They're constantly belittling him. As if he didn't have no say so of them being brought into this world, man. And he that is obedient to the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother. Okay, so this is what happens when there's just one, especially there's just a woman, because studies show that if it is a single parent household and it's the father, the children grow up to be somewhat better, man. All right, they grow to be more disciplined, because the male brings that dominant disciplinary spirit in the household. Okay. Ecclesiasticus 3:7, he that feareth the Lord will honor his father. And this is the problem in our nation. There ain't enough fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So, our people, they don't honor this all. Hey, people go all out for Mother's Day, but when Father's Day comes around, it's crickets, man, for the most part. No one's really doing it big on Father's Day, man. Okay, and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. All right. So to the best of our ability, while our parents, earthly parents, especially our fathers, are here on this earth, you know, hey, they need help. You know, they call, they getting up in age and they call and need some help from you. We got to do our best to be there for them, man. Even if they, you know, they wicked, they going, hey, it doesn't matter. All right, we still gotta, you know, to the best of our ability, you know, honor our parents, man. All right, and this is what's lacking in the Negro, Latino, and Native American community, the Israelites, man. Let's go ahead and finish.
So really got attitudes like they dad's mama, right? But listen, we never talk about or we never examine how growing up in a household, how growing up in a household minus strong male role models and father figures, how it affects black women. Right now, you can have a black woman who's 20. Her mama had her when she was 16. That means she's 36. Her mama had her when she was 16, which means she's 52. So you got 20, 36, 52. All three of them hoes in the club at the same time, right? All competing for the same no good ass street at the same time. Now the 52-year-old grandmama, right? She feel like I gave my childhood up. I ain't ready to be old yet. Don't call me grandmama. Call me Nana. Call me Gigi, right? Them the worst kind of hoes in the world, right? Right? So listen. So you have the 20-year-old, her mama, 36, her mama, grandmama, is 52. But the 20-year-old got a 4-year-old daughter because she had a daughter when she was 16. Ain't no man in the equation nowhere. So how does growing up in a household where you've never seen your mother and father get into an argument, right, and then come down off the argument and still love on each other? Right now, black women give up on your ass like this. You get into one argument, they're trying to cut you off. You know why? Because they've never seen compromise inside the household. They've never seen their mama or grandmama get into it with their daddy or granddaddy or stepdaddy or step-granddaddy, and then
I and quickly say that's in the scriptures. You know, you gonna have trouble in the flesh. You know, you take on a woman. You know, on this side, man. All right, so you gonna get into, you know, so-called arguments with a woman. All right, but what, you gotta revert back to the scriptures. Dwell with them according to knowledge, man. You know, that's the way, you know, you got to deal with it. But the father is absent in general, man, and that breeds confusion. Okay, that breeds confusion. Ultimately, you know, it's because Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, he's slandered, you know, the so-called black man. All right, and Eve, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American woman, has joined in on that slander. Okay, so this is why, you know, the Israelite man, you know, 9 times out of 10, he leaves the house, you know, ultimately due to the curses. But all right, because he gets no peace, he gets no respect within his household. All right, I've seen that play out with my earthly father. Okay, that's one of the things that he really, you know, he really what's the word I'm looking for? One of the things he really wanted, you know, it was respect, man. All right, my dad would speak he speaks very highly of respect, and he wants respect, man. That's all the Israelite man wants, but he doesn't get that. All right, this is Psalms 50:16, and it reads, "But unto the wicked, the Most High said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes?" All right, you wicked ass Edomites, man. All right, and the rest of you heathen nations, man. You ain't got nothing to do with the scriptures, man. The Bible, all right. It doesn't belong to you. You wasting your time. All you Edomites, you know, going to church and you so called praising the Lord. You wasting your time, man. If you go back to Esau, Edom, all right, you going in chains, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. Psalms 50:7. Seeing that thou hatest instruction. Okay, Esau and the rest of the heathen, man, beginning with Esau, they hate instruction. They don't like the instructions of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay? This is why he pushed, you know, the Israelite man out the house. Okay, he wants chaos. He wants, you know, that's part of the New World Order. You know, that's in their agenda to destroy the family unit. Okay? You don't want instruction in the house, and casteth thy words behind thee. Okay? Psalms 50:18, when thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and has been partaker with adulterers, man. All right, Esau he's all over the place, man. But his main goal is to destroy the Israelite man, beginning with the Judite man. Psalms 50:9. Thou givest thy mouth to evil. All right, Esau is always speaking evil of the Israelite man. You know, he's a deadbeat father. He ain't there. But meanwhile, there's studies that show that so-called black men are the most involved in their children's life, man. Okay, and our tongue famous myth slacky, and our tongue famous deceit. All right, he's always speaking lies about the Israelite man. Okay, always, man. Every time this nigga Esau gets on the camera, he's spewing lies about the Israelites, man. Beginning with the men. Okay, Psalms 50 and 20, and it reads, "Thou sittest and speakest against our brother, because he's our brother. He's our evil brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son." All right, this is all Esau does. Okay, and he's done a great job at doing it, man. Okay, let's go back and get a little bit.
Or granddaddy or stepdaddy or step granddaddy, and then it might be an explosive argument, but I'm showing you that it's the argument doesn't dictate the longevity of this relationship. It don't impact the structure. The argument is just that, an argument. Black women get mad at you right now, bro. You a hoe ass, they give up on you and go run to the next funky. And he ain't no better than you left, because they don't understand how to rationalize. They don't understand how to bring about peace. Your grandmama cussed your granddaddy out, right? But she didn't try to destroy the relationship because she understood how valuable he was. Your grandmama, your granddaddy for sure. Right. But she didn't call him a ass on Instagram. Right. She didn't call your daddy no ass in front of a house full of people, right? She waited till everybody you knew the temperature was hot then, right? Ooh, yeah. But as soon as everybody left, she got Big Willie Earl ass. You hear me? Big Willie Earl wrong. She got Robert Earl, Willie Earl.
All right, which that's going off. Okay, hey, women supposed to keep silent. Okay, Big Mama ain't supposed to be raising up nothing, man. Nah, man. All right, that's going off. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to this. Ecclesiastes 3:8. Honor thy father and thy mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. All right, honor your mother and your father. Okay, do what is required of you by them. Okay, do what's right. All right, that's what the scripture is saying. Ecclesiasticus 3:9, which is the main point for the blessing of the father. All right, the father is very important in the house. Esau, even the so-called white man, knows that. Establishes the houses of children. So the father being in the house establishes the house. Okay, meaning what? That it's going to, you know, if he's a strong Israelite man, for the most part, he gonna have his house in order. But the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. All right, and I've seen this. You know, Joachim Uakwaf, you've seen this time in, time and time out, man. You see, your cousin, they grew up with the mother only, and you see the results of it. All right, but you see what type of woman that she's dealing with, that's raising those children, man. They're demons. All right, this is why more than 9 times out of 10, the man gets up out of there. All right, we'll grab this, and then we'll grab one more scripture, and then we'll close out. Okay, Lord willing, this is a dictionary: slander, the action or a crime of making a false spoken statement. All right, so Esau, you goddamn Edomites, man, you gonna pay. Okay, you're gonna pay for the slander that you have done against the Israelite men. Okay, you gonna pay for that, man. That's a crime in the eyes of Yahweh Shemar Shai. All right, because the study, like I said, the studies show that the Israelite men are most, Jake men are most in the present in their children's life. Okay, the action or a crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. All right, and that's what Esau, the so-called white man, has done, and the rest of the heathen do it as well. They so-called science, and the movies Esau puts out. All right, the so-called black man's a thug, and You know, hey, that's Trump's favorite word, thug. You know, you constantly saying thug, man. Who you think he's talking about? Make false and damaging statements about someone, okay? False and damaging statements. All right, you eat mice, man. You gonna pay, man. Okay. Mark went off here, Mark 3 and 27, and it reads, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. All right, and this is what Esau has done. You know, he's binded and took the strong man out the house, because you go back into the 60s, you know, early 70s, you know, I'll give the 70s, you know, you go, you know, 50s, you know, even 40s, man. Jake men were involved. They were in the house, and the families were, for the most part, in order, intact. You can see that. Okay, you got the man. You know, he's with his family. Eve is alongside him. You go back to them old photos. All right, you got the whole entire family in the photo. Fast forward to 2025, going into 2026. Every photo you see Eve with her children. Okay, and Eve got her hip poked out or her ass showing. It just, hey man, we need the great reset. You know, Lord willing, this was edifying. Into the next lesson, Shalom.